my. Okay. Aloha. Thank you so much for being here. Um, so I just want to thank, the UH staff for inviting with the County of Hawaii. I was just telling Auntie Carla that normally uh, I don't talk in front of like large groups of, public and just talk to our staff. So it's about 100 staff, but, this is a lot more stressful right here. No. But so my name is Lindsey Iyo. I am the Recreation Division Administrator for Hawaii County. And in this role, I oversee all recreation facilities, programs, and personnel island-wide. I started my career with the county in 2008, and that was actually when I was still taking classes here at UH Hilo. And so I would come here to classes in the morning, and then I would drive every day to Waimea and I was the recreation director out there. And I did that for about 6 months before I graduated from here, and then I could just focus on my career out there. But it's been a long time since I've been here at UH, and it's such a great thing to come back and be able to present here. Um, so when I moved from I worked out in Waimea for about 2.5 years, and then I finally got the chance to transfer back to Hilo, and I got a position at the Kilkaha Gym, Kawananakoa Center. And that's where I met these two guys here, Mark Osorio and Kevin Nekoba. And that's us. Um, and so I'll go through, my presentation, and you'll understand more about why we look the way that we look in this picture. Because I'm going to talk about the program that we created called Plilikulaiwi, and how it has changed recreation for the better. And so I just, I want you guys to know that it's not at all, it wasn't an overnight success for this program. And so I'm going to share a little bit about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how we got to the successful program that we have today. So starting from the beginning, we established goals for our program. And so the first thing that we did was we talked about identifying the need within the community that we served, and that community was Kilkaha at that time. And what we saw was a lot of kids didn't necessarily have the opportunity to go out outside of the immediate community that they lived in, and learn about different areas on Hawaii Island. So we wanted to create a program that would expose the kids to other areas on our beautiful island. And so creating opportunities for the keiki to experience adventure, and then along with that, creating memories. And something that was important to us was um, minimizing the cell phone use. Because at that time, a lot of kids were just starting to get cell phones. They're at that older age, right, where the parents buy them a new cell phone and they're always on the phone. And so we wanted that to be a priority for our program, to minimize the use of the cell phones. And then also, we wanted to make sure that we were building character through hard work, life lessons, and then again, great experiences. Um, we knew that we wanted to focus on our native plants and animals, and then the forests and coastlines, and the issues that they face and how we and future generations could help. And then so we wanted to ensure that we were teaching them how to be good caretakers of our Aina, yeah? And then to plant the seeds of knowledge, ensure that we have future caretakers for generations to come. And then what we did was we actually, so from those goals, we worked on those goals first, and from those goals, we determined that it was essential for our keiki to form some kind of a relationship with this place that we called home. And because when you forge a relationship with something or someone, you care about it, right? And so we wanted, through that, we knew that they would grow and they would flourish. And with the help of our dear friend Lokelani Brandt, we named our new program, and the name is Plilikulaiwi, and this means to build a relationship with my homeland. And so, with that, now that we had our ideas, we named our program, we said, okay, we're gonna go to our bosses and we're gonna pitch our idea. Because at that time, there was no program in the county like it. So this was a brand new idea, right? Typically, when you think of recreation, you think of sports, right? Or like arts and crafts, summer fun programs. But there was nothing like this, okay, that focused on sustainability, learning about our culture and our land. And like I said, I'm going to share with you the good, bad, and the ugly. So I'm going to tell you that this wasn't an easy process to get approved by our bosses because of the fact that it was brand new. It was a brand new idea. And so at first, there were a lot of no's. Our bosses shut us down because they didn't have that same understanding, that same connection to the land and the culture. And so there were a lot of tears, lots of frustration that us three went through, lots of back and forth with our bosses, but we didn't give up. And so in the end, what we did was we created a PowerPoint presentation. We presented it to our bosses, and we made sure that we accounted for everything, right? And we laid it all out for them. And after months of trying, I want to say this was like at least 6 months of trying, yeah. But after months of trying, he finally allowed us to do a pilot program in fall of 2016. And so during the fall break, uh, we decided that we were going to run a program from Monday through Thursday. We took on 26 participants, and it was just the three of us staff. And we visited 3 sites. So Ka'ohe Game Management Area, which is on Mauna Kea, Hawaiian Legacy Forest in Umikoa Village up in Pauilomoka, and then the lava entry point at Kalapana. The lava was flowing at that time. And during the course of those 4 days, we planted over 600 native trees. So our first excursion was to Ka'ohe Game Management Area. And we went Monday and Tuesday, we stayed overnight. This is some of the pictures from that trip. It was freezing. I mean, outside of, going to the mainland, experiencing snow and the cold weather there, I've never experienced anything like this in Hawaii. So this was definitely an eye-opener for us. But we partnered with DLNR, and we went up above the Kilohana Hunter check-in station, is where this is at. We camped in this water reservoir, this old water reservoir. That's the top picture up here. And this is basically what we had. A 20 by 30 tent with 26 kids, 3 adults. And of course, DLNR had their own luxury camping on the other side. But this was us, 29 cots in this 20 by 30. And what we did was we stayed overnight, and for 2 days we hiked around the area. We did some planting of koa, mamane, and ileahi. And this was it, you know. We roughed it. It was the kids. I mean, I think they had a blast. But there was no bathrooms up there. There was a hole in the ground, so kids had to learn about that too, you know. Um, there was no shower. So I think I can safely say that we, you know, we bit off more than we could chew with this one, for sure. Yeah. 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 And so yeah, this was our first 2 days. Uh, and we learned a lot from this, and we changed a lot of things after this. Um, the third day, we went up to Pauilomoka. We planted, here is where we planted the majority of the native plants. I think we did 400 here. Um, and it was great because this was like the opposite end of the spectrum as far as outplanting. So we did the roughing it the first 2 days, and then here you can see the UTVs in the background there. So we got to ride up in those. We didn't have to hike, and then they fed us an unbelievable lunch. So two ends of the spectrum here, but this was fun. And this was also just a day trip. And then our last day of the program we did on Thursday, and we hiked to the lava entry point at Kalapana. We partnered with Kalapana Cultural Tours and Ikaika Marzo. And this was another fun trip, you know. I think we at that point we decided to take advantage of uh, what Pele was doing at that time. Yeah, so we hiked out there. Ikaika Marzo shared mo'olelo with us about the area. It was a great day and a great way to close out that first program. And that's why we look the way that we did at the end of this week. We had a absolute absolute blast. And this was the first one under our belt. But like I said, we definitely made improvements. We changed a lot of things after that. We brought in more staff to help us. And now we actually we find established shelters where we don't have to build tents and sleep under there. So we stay at places like the Mauna Kea Recreation Area bunkhouses, or KMC. So just to share with you guys some of the places that we visited. So this is the Nature Conservancy of Ka'u. This was the following year. And this place was really interesting, and it was really special because there's actually a part of the forest that has been fenced off from pigs and goats and sheep and all of that. And so what you're seeing is the forest regenerates naturally, and it was just really interesting to see from going from Mauna Kea, where sheep, cattle, everything roams the land, damages the understory of the forest. It was really interesting to see the forest here where there are no animals to damage the understory. So it was something really special. Um, earlier that year, we went to Pu'uva'ava'a. Here we camped at the old ranch houses, and the kids got to learn about water conservation at this site. Especially because I think at the time that we went, we were in a drought period, so the water at the water reservoir was really low, and we had to limit the kids to 2-minute showers. So that was cold water. Yes, never have hot water. So that was fun also. Um, Next, we went to Pololu Valley. And at this time, I didn't know. I'm not sure if you guys know, but there's a lo'i at the top of one of the ridges at Pololu Valley, and so we hiked up. This is above the valley, and there's a full lo'i system up there that the kids got to work in and help to restore. Um, so that was pretty cool. Also in Kohala, we went to Puanui. This site is right off the mountain road, um, and it's a beautiful area. But we hiked to the top of Pu'ukehena, and this is all of the participants at the top. And here they learn about the dry crop systems of Kohala, and we partnered with Ulu Mau Puanui. And we've actually been back multiple times uh, to this site because they're such awesome hosts. We also went to Halepa'o. This one we partnered with the Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center. We got to camp here for 3 days and 2 nights. And it was a great experience for the kids to learn. At that point, we had done a lot of Mauka stuff. So this was one of our very first that we did Makai side. And the kids got to learn about the local and that whole system. We went to Mahukona. This one was special because we we got to witness whales in that time, and they were breaching the surface and jumping out of the water, and so it was pretty cool. And even through COVID, we ran this program because we knew that it was important for the kids to get out of the house, get out into nature. So we stayed. That's the bunkhouses in the background there, but we stayed at the bunkhouses, and we worked in the Mauna Kea Forest Reserve. We also went to, so this was, I think, one of our first times that we actually stayed in Hilo. And we did a day trip here. We partnered with Kalani Kahalio Umi, who is also employed by the county. He has a program called Ikekai, which he runs out of the Richardson's Ocean Center. And he took us sailing on his va'a. This is the one that we went to Mauna Kea, and we tried to go higher than we had ever gone before. We tried to go to Skyline Road. And don't tell my bosses, but we actually got stuck here. So the van is stuck. And we had to wait like 3 hours for somebody to come and tow us out. But, this is part of the experience, yeah, with the kids. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, and I tell you what, the kids still come back. This is 5 years later, and they still come back and they say, "Remember that time we got stuck?" So it's just great all around. Um, Here we went to Hualalai, and we partnered with Uluhau o Hualalai. They are trying to restore the forest area up there. And so we got to do some outplanting here. And then, so through that Plilikulaiwi program, the parents of the kids that were coming to our programs started to say, "Hey, I like go to that place that you took the kids to." So in 2019, after about a year of them begging us, pretty much, we decided to try an adult program. And so the literal translation for the program name, Ulu Ohia, is the ohia found in our native forest. And just as some background for the idea for the name, so it's the ohia is actually the first hardwood tree to set roots in any lava field. And so this tree, we think of it as like the parents, right, in our hui, able to create and sustain life out of nothing, right? Our keiki are afforded the opportunities to build long-lasting connections. And so this program actually gives the makua um, a chance to reconnect with our Aina. And so this was the birth of Uluohi'a, and we started our first program in January 2019. And this one we went to Kiholo Bay and we helped with the local cleanup and the coastline cleanup in that area. The next trip that we had was in August later of that year. We went up to the Mauna Kea Forest Reserve. And you know, I'm a true believer that everything happens for a reason. And so this trip was really special because it was in this trip that we realized that we were doing something right. Because, and this was no planning of us and DLNR beforehand, but in this trip, we actually went to the Mauna Kea Forest Reserve, and the parents had the chance to clean and maintain the areas of the trees that the kids had planted back in 2016. So that was a super cool, you know, just a super cool experience for everybody. And then in 2020, we went to Hualalai, and again, the parents had the opportunity to be caretakers of the plants that their kids had put in the ground the year before. So, um, as far as Kuleana goes, some practices that we incorporate in in these two programs are these things. So we don't use any disposable paper goods. We make sure that the kids and the parents, they bring their own mess kits, they bring their own plate, forks, and it's all reusable water bottle. And we try to minimize our trash to one trash bag. And we've done it, but it's difficult, right? Because you have 30 people for 3 days, you know. Um, and so, but that's something that we try really hard to do. And then as far as the water conservation practices, just kind of putting these ideas in the kids' heads, yeah. Washing dishes. When you wash dishes, you lather everything up. Um, you turn off the water, wash your dishes. Then when you're ready to rinse, you turn on the water, as opposed to letting the water run the whole time, right? Brushing your teeth same time, and then taking a shower, not taking, you know, 20-minute hot baths, you know. Um, and then again, minimizing the cell phone use during the program and just being present. Yeah. For us, working alongside the kids is very important. We didn't want to be those people that, you know, just say, go do this, you know. So if you have if you witness our programs, we are right there alongside the kids, with our hands in the dirt, planting next to them. Um, and then also just teaching the kids how to be good stewards of the land, yeah, how to take care of our resources, um, and then the conservation issues. Uh, Knowledge is power. So if if we don't know how our daily lives affect nature, the plants, the animals, the ocean, the land, then how can we do better to help them to survive, right? And help them to be there for generations to come. So with that, I want to say mahalo for having me. And these are the three questions that I have, and I'll turn it back over. Yeah? No, that's it.